Yo, this is Deontay the Bronx Bomber Wild, the WBC heavyweight champion of the world. And I'd like to give a big shout out to CJ Goodfella of Sports TV. Bomb Squad, baby.
Don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Health Blaze, at thehealthblaze.com. 100% all natural products from lotions, soaps, foot soaks, bath bombs, and much, much more. Use the promo code Goodfella1Boxing. Tell them your boy CJ Goodfella sent you, get 18% off. We out. All right, David Benavidez Sr., the father of Jose and David Benavidez Jr., said that Canelo didn't want to smoke with them and still don't want to smoke. And Canelo is becoming run down, a worn-out fighter, and that David can get him. Obviously, he gonna want to ride with his son, and it's possible. But let's talk about his interview he did with Fight Hype. Hit the subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. And, obviously we know Canelo and the knees has been a huge rumor that his knees are going out and he don't have that much time in boxing. Is he slowing down? I mean, shit. We got, 50-something fights or whatever it is? Of course he could be slowing down, I think he knows he's slowing down, and I heard some rumors that he may be trying to just do everything he needs to do to build his legacy up now, so he can get ready to retire, due to his knees. And I thought it was just one knee, but it's actually both knees. So Benavidez Sr. is making accurate depiction or accurate, synopsis on the situation. But, he said they tried to make that fight and Canelo didn't want to make the fight. We know he tried to make Triple G on Cinco de Mayo and Triple G didn't want to fight him. There was some rumors. Well, Abel Sanchez confirmed that David Benavidez basically gave Golovkin a beast by Dre in the gym many years ago, and he still was a teenager probably. So, Benavidez is a good fighter. They kind of talked about some strategy. That's what I love to hear. He said how you beat Canelo is basically with straight punches, and you beat anybody with straight punches because that's the quickest line there. You know what I'm saying? But he talked about not going for the head and, systematically breaking Canelo down with punching him to the chest. And you punch him to the chest, to kind of stop the head movement into the body, to stop the head movement and control where you want him to go. And Benavidez got a longer reach. He talked about he thought Kovalev was beating him in that fight. A lot of people did. And it don't look like Kovalev was throwing no power in that fight. Y'all know how I feel about that swimming board type of fight or diving board type of fight. But they talked about strategy and how they would beat him. He said it's a great fight. It's a scary fight. But it's a tough fight. It's a fight that, they'd be willing to take. But Canelo don't want that fight. He said, he would rather go fight Billy Joe Saunders, but then again, size of the streets, you know what I'm saying? He offered to fight Jamal. Jamal said no. So at the end of the day, it's, he offered to fight Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant said no. So, our PBC fanboys, they want it a certain way. They want it one way, where they gotta look the best. You feel what I'm saying? But if you offering a couple fighters to come fight you and they say, no, I'm not dealing with him no more. Canelo don't have to fight David Benavidez. He don't have to fight Jamal Charlo. He can pick and choose his fights at this point in his career. But it'd be a hell of a fight. You know what I'm saying? I think Charlo and Benavidez got the best styles to beat him because they both aggressive, they both big, and they both willing to get knocked out. They're willing to they're willing to get knocked out trying to get a knockout. And that's the type of pressure and aggressiveness you gotta have with fighting a guy like Canelo. Not saying they're gonna beat him, but just the style and just the mentality they have of, they don't mind taking something to get theirs, and that's how you work Canelo out. Canelo always had a stamina issue. How you beat Canelo, you got to fight like Chavez, you got to fight like, bring the pain like Duran. That's how you're gonna beat that guy. And I think, Benavidez probably got the highest chances of beating him at 68 and below. It's talking about 75, but Beterbiev tear his ass up. That's no contest. As long as he don't drain Beterbiev, and I don't think Beterbiev can lose no more weight. Beterbiev fuck Canelo up. Canelo know what's up. People that think, Beterbiev or Beterbiev, whatever you want to call him, won't fuck Canelo up. You out your fucking mind. You see what he did to Gosvick. He systematically broke him down. People thought, Gosvick winning. He wasn't winning. He was getting his ass beat. But, with Benavidez, he got a great chance at beating Canelo, but the seasoning ain't there. That's the edge for Canelo right now. Canelo is a seasoned vet. He gonna learn. He gonna have to beat Canelo. He got to learn as he go. So it's important for them to make the plan. It's important for them to try to get the Callum Smith fight for him so he can get that world level championship experience. It's cool that he got a gangster mentality. It's cool that he got a gangster mentality. It's cool that he wants to fight the best. It's cool that he aggressive. It's cool that he then got better stamina since he didn't got with Alex Ariza. You know, it's cool that his daddy, you know, can lay out the schematics of the blueprint on how to beat Canelo. But there's no substitute for experience. So, you know, before I would put him in there, if I'm Al Heyman, Caleb Plant, you know, Callum Smith, I would see Billy Joe trying to come over and fight. Those type of guys that you got to feed that kid. You know, that's why Caleb Plant, I give him the edge to beat David Benavidez, because he's young. Very, very young. So, you know, the longer they take to make these fights, the better he gonna get, as long as he can keep his weight under control. But, you know, right now versus Canelo, I think Canelo probably ain't nobody beating Canelo. You got to go in there and stop him. And Benavidez got the style to stop him, but he's still growing, though. He's still getting stronger. He's still learning how to punch harder, you know, and it's probably his best interest to try to take other fights right now. But if that's what they want to do, they got the right style. He a huge dude, man. 6'2", long arms. You know what I'm saying? He can put the pressure on Canelo. Canelo feet got to be on point that night. You know what I'm saying? And Benavidez can improve on his footwork. He plot a lot. He flat-footed a lot. They need to put him on his toes a little bit more and show him how to cut the ring off just a little bit more with his feet. He kind of do it with his punches and with his whiff. But if they can put him on his toes a little bit before getting in there with Canelo and kind of fight with just a little rhythm every now and again, that'll be a difficult fight for Canelo. Especially if the kid able to get the fights that he need, like Plant and Smith, Callum Smith is his mandatory. His secondary mandatory after Ivy Uterman. But yeah, you know, I think they got the right style to beat Canelo. You know, talking about jabbing to the chest, jabbing to the stomach, left hook to the body. You know what I'm saying? You know, killing the body, you know, beating the chest in and then going up top and taking them to the deep end and drowning them. They got the style, but Canelo got the experience, the feints, you know, how to offset that. That's a dangerous fight for Canelo. You know, especially if his win ain't up to par. And Benavidez got that win he had versus Garville in the second fight. That's a difficult fight. That's how you're going to beat Canelo. Because if you go out there and box him like Floyd still got to draw somebody on somebody's card. You got to go in the mindset, I'm knocking this joker out. And it started off with body punching. That's why Triple G lost the first fight. Triple G didn't go balls to the wall. Triple G, all this shit he talked about knocking Canelo out, when he had the opportunity to pull down on Canelo and go all the way deep on the deep end, he stopped at the fence. He didn't want to fight past the fence no more. He didn't want to go all the way in the kitchen because Canelo was hurting him with them shots to the head and to the body. So he kept an arm's distance between him and Canelo. Benavidez and guys like Charlo, they got to be willing to go all the way in the deep end. And they got to be able to smother this guy, you know, fight him in the phone booth, put your shoulder on him, and just, you got to be tough with guys like that. Be rough. Elbows, bow him a little bit, you know, liver shot, you know what I'm saying, hitting him on the hip. You got to do all that. And once you rip Canelo body and you hit him on the hip and he get tired. He got tired versus Danny Jacobs. You just got to keep that pressure on him. Fuck the head in the first couple rounds, like Benavidez Sr. said. Chest and body, ripping that body. And I guarantee you, 8th, 9th, 10th round, he'd be ready to go. You know, if you do it the right way. You know, but that's an interesting fight. I don't think that's a fight they ever going to do, though. That's a dangerous fight. And obviously, Senior took a rip at Caleb and say, why didn't he want to fight the best? Even if he would have lost, he would have been the star. And obviously, the turnaround was too quick. He got talking around that Benavidez, as long as he didn't get injured, he basically would have took the fight with a quick turnaround. And that's Caleb Plant perspective. I knew when they offered him the fight. I was the first person to tell y'all that fight was offered to him. You know, but I knew he wasn't going to take it, though. And I don't think Al Heyman was going to approve of him taking that fight. So I heard that, you know, they offered him the fight to kind of force Callum Smith or Billy Joe to take the fight. But obviously, it don't matter now. The fight wouldn't happen regardless because of the COVID-19. So, but I did hear that, that first that they was going to take, they offered him that fight. But I don't really think it wouldn't have materialized, even if he wanted to. And that's if it was with Al or if Oscar really wanted to make that fight, but it really don't matter. But I don't understand why Caleb Plant didn't take that fight neither, if he had the opportunity to truly have full control of his career. But as far as Benavidez and Plant, right now it's probably, Benavidez and Canelo. Canelo probably right now because he sees, and obviously he got all the stuff on his side as far as, the judges, the commission. But Benavidez got to come in for the knockout. But if he can put some more icing on his cake and fight the Plants, the Smiths, and get some couple other fights them fights under his belt, he'll be ready for Canelo. He probably could be the one to dethrone Canelo. If that happened, he probably going to be one of the biggest stars in boxing with his style, his charisma, his grit, his gangster. His pop seemed to be a solid dude. He probably going to come in there and just, he beat Canelo, he'd be a star. Facts. He'd be a big star in boxing, especially if he can knock Canelo out. So, we'll see, man. But I'll put that interview link in the description. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out to me on any of the social media sites if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video question, just want to chop it up. Want to make a donation to the channel, Cash App, PayPal, description. Best way to donate is share the video. Let me know what you guys think one time for the one time. Let me know who you think win, Canelo or David Benavidez. We on.